Okay, got to be a bit careful here. I'm certainly not going to open it and risk it. It is Mutti's Organic Double Concentrate. No, we don't spare no expense here with no salt added. Tomato paste. And of course, it is certified organic, manufactured in Italy, in Parma, in Italy, produce of Italy. Mutti, the company that makes it, is glad to see Italy turning on its back on tomatoes from China. China's tomato paste exports fell sharply, nearly 82% this year, according to one analyst. It's because of a backlash against companies blending the inexpensive Chinese tomato paste into products and labeling them all as Chinese. Who'd do such a thing? China's also been accused of using forced labor to grow tomatoes in Jiangxi province, something that Beijing denies. The CEO of Mutti is Francesco Mutti. He joins me from Parma in Italy. I'm grateful for you, sir. Thank you. How big a problem was this?
Well, good evening, everybody from Parma. It was a significant problem because in some way, the Italian standards are extremely different from the Chinese one, and having a mix of product will dilute the quality of the Italian tomatoes worldwide. And Italy is really a very important exporter, in particular of canned tomatoes, that reach 70% of the global export of this product.
So what was happening? The Chinese or rather some unscrupulous traders were mixing the cheap Chinese with a few slightly more expensive Italian and calling it Italian.
Well, let's say that China had an unbelievable rise of production in the latest years, and in 2024 they became the first producer worldwide, beating also California, that has been always the biggest in the world, trying to enter particularly in Europe. And they were doing it selling particularly to some company that they were mixing the product, in part exporting to Africa, so as a directly Chinese product, or vice versa, selling in other countries, mainly out of Italy, as a mix of the two. So there was an Italian part and a Chinese one, but was not, again, the Italian quality. The big difference of the quality of the tomatoes in Italy is extremely important. Our production per hectare is by far different, means
right,
much lower than the one in California, but makes a different product.
Now that's interesting. Tell me, I asked this question with great worry. A tomato is a tomato, isn't it?
Absolutely not. It's like a music is a music or an opera is an opera. No, there are completely a huge difference in terms of the carefulness you take versus the fruit, versus you cultivate it, in the way you process them. So it's something like saying a wine is just a wine. Unfortunately, the spread in terms of knowledge of this quality between the tomatoes is not so well known as for the wine, but I don't think that necessarily a Champagne or a Barolo are exactly just a wine.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm just grateful you didn't just switch the computer off when I asked that question in disgust. Quick question, has tariffs hit you? If we look, I mean, we bought this in the shop here in New York. How's tariffs actually hit you?
Well, definitely tariffs hit us significantly. Consider that in general, tomatoes is already a quite poor product. We absorb most of these price increase, I would say more than 2/3. Unfortunately, we had to raise slightly our price list to the export into the US market. Consider that nowadays the US counts approximately for 10% of our export, being the leader in Italy and also in Europe.
Right, so if it's 10% to the US, obviously a huge amount to within Italy and in Europe itself, within the EU. What new? I'm always curious when you talk about tomatoes and all these products, how you grow your business. Pardon the pun. When I say that, new products that you can go into, value-added products that you can add to. You must be constantly thinking of trying to do new things.
Well, it's more than 125 years that as a family, we continue to study two things. From one side, how to ameliorate the product itself, and from the other, what are the innovation we can bring to the market. And I can just mention a couple of it. In 1951, we create the tube for the paste, for the tomato paste, or in 1971, a new product called polpa, chopped tomatoes, we can say, was born in Mutti. This is from the innovation point of view, and we can continue for a while with other innovation, more recent if you want. And from the other side is how to make a better product, and to make a better product in an extremely simple product, because in our tomatoes, there is just tomatoes as a small hint of salt. Well, the only way is having a better tomato. Consider that despite the fact that Mutti is quite a large company, at least for you Italian standards, we pay the tomatoes more than 10% above the market. Why that? Because we want to select the best farmers. We want the best farmers that decide to come to bring their best tomatoes to Mutti. And this is something that is totally the opposite of what usually happens in the market. So in the market, all the efforts are concentrated in cost reduction. We pay more than the market. And this is a crucial point for achieving quality.
You just can't beat sliced tomatoes, fresh olive oil, bit of basil on the top, bit of pepper. Perfect. Sir, I look forward to the next time we speak in Parma with some of your tomatoes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
With great pleasure, we wait for you.
Thank you. Now, we should just note, China is denying all the allegations. A spokesperson said last year there is no forced labour in Shanxing. The Chinese government stands firmly against forced labour and has taken tough measures against it.